All right, we are here for game one, and we won the die roll, so that's perfect. So let's go ahead and go first. Um, it's not our absolute best hand. Not having anything to do on turn one is not really where we want to be, and we can't even cast a Stramoka's command in our hand anyway. So it's not our best hand, but I don't believe it's a mulligan, especially on the play. So we're going to lead with Lieutenant right away, because we don't really have the other creatures to put counters on it unless we play it later. So I'm going to lead with Lieutenant and basically have it be a 2-mana Champion of the Parish, where every other creature will play after it will grow. Opponent's mulliganing to 5. So that means we got a pretty good chance. We're going to go Lieutenant into Necromancer. And then maybe be able to play Mayor plus Dramoka's Command on turn 4. But that's my curve so far. Bloodstained Mire doesn't really tell us what kind of deck they're playing. I'm going to go and play the Cavern of Souls. I can't imagine they'd have... well, I mean, I could imagine if they're playing Grixis and they have Spell Snare from that Bloodstained Mire. I guess I could imagine that. The old Bloodstained Mire Stomping Ground deck. It's usually what Jund things. It's usually Jund things, but it could be a Scape Shift deck with Bloodstained Mire. Ooh, all right. We're gonna dredge a bunch. So one of the best cards that Dredge has against creature decks, like a card that I usually really struggle with, is Conflagrate, and so I really like having this Dramoka's Command in our hand right now to prevent the damage from a Conflagrate. Obviously, we don't have to worry about that quite yet, but we may here in the future. So they don't have any, no dredgers in their graveyard right now, and they just drew 3 cards normally. All right, so I said before that I was going to go with Necromancer, but with us drawing Noble Hierarch, I'm going to go ahead and just play Hierarch plus Mayor. It's going to be much more aggressive. Let's see. We don't need another black source at all. Let's just go Temple Garden. So our Lieutenant's already swinging for 5. If we would have just played the Necromancer, it would have only attacked for 2. So we got 2 counters on it, plus the Exalted trigger from Noble Hierarch. So... and then also plus the buff from Mayor. So we got a lot of buffs by going this way. Very aggressive start. Okay, another Cathartic Reunion from our opponent. They ditched 2 Narcomoebas, which would obviously not do anything from their hand, and looks like they did not find what they wanted. I guess they probably just didn't even find a land. So that's a concession. All right, we got game 1. Okay, so Leyline of the Void, obviously a huge part of this matchup. The other good part about Leyline of the Void is people just don't really expect it. People may expect Rest in Peace sometimes, but people don't really expect Leyline of the Void. So that's obviously coming in. We don't need Elspeth or Linvala. Sin Collector is not the best. I do like Pontiff because they have so many Narcomoebas and Bloodghast that you could get rid of to be able to swing for lethal. So I do like Pontiff. So I'm thinking these 4. I mean, they do have a lot of different spells. Like, if we can catch them with a Life from the Loam after they dredge it in their hand, but Mind Sensor doesn't matter that much. There's nothing in particular where we really need to evolution into. Don't really need Calm Ball. Ethersworn Canonist can keep them from Life from the Loam, Dredge, plus Cathartic or Conflagrate in the same turn, but probably not worth it. I think we're gonna kind of stay the same. I think we're just gonna take. I'm just gonna take out Sin Collector. Time Striker's also like Sin Collector can't really battle prized amalgams too well or anything like that. I think that's what we're gonna do. Actually, let's try that. So then, what else don't we want? I kind of want the Necromancers. I want to be able to block a bunch and then swing back for lethal, or if they conflagrate my team, I want to be able to get zombies. So I want the Necromancers. There's nothing that looks that bad. Tracker maybe just a little slow. Okay, let's do this. Sin Collector's not the worst here. It's not the worst card. But I kind of feel like it's the worst in our deck. It's also possible I should be just taking out Mayor of Averbrook, because Mayor can just get swept up and conflagrate very easily. So we'll see after this game too if I want to cut Mayors for the Sin Collector's back. The hand's perfectly fine. Champion, nothing, Necromancer. I don't think that's good enough to beat Dredge. Plus, when we have 3 Leyline of the Void in our deck, I really want to hit Leyline of the Void. So we're going to mulligan. This is a little better. It's not Leyline of the Void, but there's not a good chance that we hit it on 3 cards, or on 5 cards anyway. But we have a pretty quick start here with Champion into Lieutenant into Pilgrim Path. Do I need / want this Gavany Township? So we'll leave it with Cavernous Souls. I think so. I think we want him. Like, I think we want a 3rd land, and it's an option for a 3rd land. So the one card we really don't want to see is Conflagrate from them, because we can make these champions and lieutenants pretty big pretty fast. All right, so they dredged a Stinkweed Imp. So we know they have a Stinkweed Imp in their hand. Okay, so for the draw step on turn 2, they dredged a Golgari Thug. So far, notable things they hit. So they do have Abrupt Decay, but they do have a Haunted Dead in the graveyard we're going to have to remember about. That can come back. They also have a Life from the Loam that they could have dredged, but they chose the Golgari Thug. And then they chose not to cast Golgari Thug. So I think they have Abrupt Decay, which is not necessarily the best for us, but it's just what they have. Our Windswept Teeth is most likely going to have to get Godless Shrine to be able to give us a black source. Well, we have Cavernous Souls, but it'd be a black source for Leyline of the Void, basically. But we're definitely going to need the white source from it for Gavany Township. So I'll just go with the Forest. Attack with this champion that I am assuming is going to get Abrupt Decayed. Hopefully not, though. Okay, so they just brought back Haunted Dead. They discarded Stinkweed Imp and Prized Amalgam. So Prized Amalgam is going to be coming back as well. So we're most likely going to need this champion to stay on defense after this. They're attacking for 7. I am pretty glad they blocked with their Spirit, because that Spirit token could have most likely blocked a larger champion or lieutenant later. Unfortunately, this time when they did dredge, they did find Conflagrate. They have 4 cards in hand. I have 4 toughness on the board. That's just very unfortunate for me. This one's looking like it's going to be going to game 3. If they just Conflagrate away our 2 creatures, it's going to be tough for us to come back. And there we go. So their hand was Imp, Thug, Narcomoeba, Wooded Foothills. Okay, now that we have an Overgrown Tomb, I can just fetch for basic planes. I'm going to path that Amalgam. They do even have Life from the Loam they get to Dredge to be able to hit land drops, which is what they did. So we're taking 4. We can't, I mean, we can block the Bloodghast, but there's just no reason to block the Bloodghast, since even if we do, they'll just play a land and it'll just come back. Thankfully, they don't have anything like Faithless Looting or anything like that to do. Oh, and that was their 3rd activation of the Gemstone Mine, so it went ahead and left as well. So let's draw Collect a Company. Collect a Company would be very nice. We're down to 8 because we had to fetch. Hey, look at that. All right, let's go ahead and play. Yeah, I think I want to play Township so I can block with the Pilgrim as well. And this will just kind of make them think that I'm going to activate the Township. So we know their hand is Copperline Gorge and Gemstone Mine. So those are the 2 lands they have in their hand. All right, no more Conflagrates, please. No more anything, really. Okay, so they took a Stinkweed Imp this time. Found an Narcomoeba. And Faithless Looting. I'm kind of assuming they're going to cast the Stinkweed Imp, but they could just cast this Looting. I could see either one. Okay. I could really see either one. I'm not the biggest Dredge player, so I'm not sure exactly which one's right. I guess this one does allow them to hit more Bloodghast and Prized Amalgams. Which they hit a Bloodghast and a Prized Amalgam and a Conflagrate. They hit 0 lands in those 9 cards. They did Stinkweed Imp and Golgari Thug. So land drop's going to let them bring this Bloodghast with haste, which is unfortunate. Thankfully, Prized Amalgam's got to wait till the end of the turn. I like double Thales Lieutenant. Or single Eternal Witness. Well, let's grab this Collect Company back. We're going to need to try again. I don't think I can win this because of this Conflagrate in there. Because this Conflagrate they're going to be able to have next turn. I think I'm just dead. We're going to go to 6. I mean, I guess we have to go to 6. I think we have to just block. I don't think we really have a choice there. Unfortunately, to play Champion and Company, we have to shock. Okay, with their draw step, they go to 3 cards by finding Life from the Loam. They cast Loam, get up to 5, so they can Conflagrate for 5, and we can't stop. Like, well, I guess if we get Orzhov Pontiff, but we're not gonna be able to swing back for lethal. But maybe they don't have any more Conflagrates. I guess we're not dead. So I think Orzhov Pontiff's a card that we're gonna have to hit here to clear out the Bloodghast and Narcomoeba. If they find another Conflagrate, we're definitely dead. Okay, they dredged the life from the loam. They got another collective brutality. So they have multiple collective brutalities here and a lot of abrupt decays. Have not seen any like nature's claims. And see, that's the thing. See, I don't think they're ready for Leyline of the Void. All right, that's going to kill us because the Narcomoeba, well, even just a Narcomoeba and a Bloodghast, we can only block 2 things. So Narcomoeba, Bloodghast deal 3 damage to us. They cast their loam, get back 3 lands, discard their hand, and kill us with Conflagrate. So I'm going to save the minute and a half or 2 minutes of my life that would all take and go to the next game. All right, let's try to find Leyline of the Void in our opener. I think it may just be game over if we have Leyline of the Void. Sin Collector still just doesn't really seem what we need. Lenval is kind of big and can block amalgams, but it takes a while to get that down. So let's stay with this. Comball might not be the worst, honestly. Actually, I kind of like Comball. They are going to cast a decent amount of non-creature spells, especially they're casting like Loam, Return. Yeah, let's get you in there. Let's get you in there over a tracker. Comball is also a 2/3, which is nice. They can just block Bloodghast right away, so that's pretty nice. Let's do that. All right, Leyline of the Void. Well, that's a mulligan. Leyline of the Void. All right, look at that. We win. Look how good we are at Magic. Hooray. So I could put 1 down, or I could put both down. I think I'll keep company on top. I think I might as well just put both down. Maelstrom Pulse would be the only reason really to not play both. So I mean, but that's fine. The reason to play both is like 1 Nature's Claim. I'm not playing a mana creature here, even though I could, because we have the Collected Company on top, which we're gonna want. So next turn, I'm going to fetch, shock with one of them to go get over. I'll get Overground. I guess I'm gonna maybe shock with both of them. Overgrown Tomb and Temple Garden. I really hope they don't have Dark Blast, but we'll be able to play 2 mana creatures next turn and then still cast Company the following turn. So remember, this is their exile zone now. It's not their graveyard. Anything that goes into their graveyard is now exiled. So what would you like to loot away faithlessly, opponent? Avacyn has abandoned us. We have nothing left except what we can take. Always liked Avacyn. Okay, so we got Imp and Life from the Loam. I really don't want to shock. I think I'm just going to get Basic Forest. So what's the difference? So go to 14 and have a Temple Garden, or stay at 16 and have a Forest. I think that's fine. I don't think they're going to be able to kill both of my mana creatures. Both of my mana creatures add white. Or, like most every land in our deck can add white, potentially. So I think this is fine, just getting a Basic Forest. I'm somebody just when I play in general, I really value basic lands and not shocking. So I try to shock as little as possible. Our opponent, though, has gone fetch shock both times, so they're at 14. So we just need 2 more touchdowns to get to 14. Easy peasy. if we don't hit a land drop, we're just going to pass the turn. There's no reason in this deck to play Collective Company main phase when you don't have attackers. Wow. Collective Brutality. That was basically the worst thing for us. So Collective Brutality not only got rid of our Noble Hierarch, but our Collective Company. Well, Leyline of the Void, you have a lot more to do now. I was relying on that company to put pressure. Lieutenant's a good draw. Wow. Okay. Another pretty good draw. So we can just start draining our opponent each time they play a non-creature spell. And it grows our lieutenant just a little bit. We obviously can't attack into Prized Amalgam, but they can't really attack here either and let us attack with all of this back. If they do attack, it probably means they have another Prized Amalgam in their hand. They only have 2 cards left. They could also just have a Stinkweed Imp if they attack. Okay. Well, that's a great card whenever we draw one more land. So if they have Abrupt Decay, they're most likely going to Abrupt Decay the Lieutenant, but I could definitely see them taking out Pilgrim to keep us off white mana. Could also see them taking Comball, so they're not getting shocked every time. So if they're sitting on Abrupt Decay right here, I could really see any of them as targets. We do not want them to cast it on the Pilgrim, so that's perfectly fine. We definitely want our Pilgrim. That was the card we really wanted, especially with not Fetch Shocking. I could definitely lose this game since I didn't Fetch Shock. I could see like them killing Pilgrim and then us just drawing white spells that we can't cast. So could lose the game, but we're also at 18 instead of 16. That's nice. But I guess it's not really nice compared to losing the game, though. Ooh, the old Narcomoeba cast. So they have one more activation with that Gemstone Mine. Sweet. Yeah, I think we just do this main phase because we could get enough. And I'll just get. I have to shock for a white source. I'm definitely going to get a white source this time, and I think we have to just get. I guess we just get Godless Shrine so we can cast another Leyline of the Void. We don't really need another green source. But anyway, I'm just going to do this right now. Because if we hit well, our Lieutenant could be big enough to attack in. We're definitely taking another Lieutenant, and I think Necromancer over Hierarch. Even though for this specific turn, Hierarch's better with the Exalted trigger. But that'll be it there. The Lieutenant was going to be a 5/5, and yep, our opponent could not come back from the double Leyline of the Void. All right, so we're starting off on a good note, 1-0 going into the second round.